I'm just setting up the YouTube live and then we'll get started with our discussion.
Sure, sure.
The tricky thing is once you do a YouTube live, you'll have to unmute the video. So I'm just waiting for the video to start on YouTube and I'll unmute that and we'll get started.
Okay.
Okay, we are live on YouTube also. I'll just share the link in the group so you can share it with your network that we are live. In the chat, I will share the YouTube live video, which you can share it in your network.
Okay.
So first of all, thank you so much for joining in. This is a weekly Saturday series we are doing where we are inviting founders, leaders from the community to share their experiences about how they are coping up with COVID-19 situation. I hope that some Saturday we will do an event or post party where the situation is over and we'll celebrate. Then every Saturday I wait that this Saturday what is the situation? Hopefully someday, some Saturday we'll have a post-corona party. Yeah. So thank you so much. So we have friends from different cities, so it would be very interesting to know each other's experiences. So the format is that we'll do a brief round of introductions and then we'll get started with our discussions.
Okay.
So, and meanwhile, whenever you are speaking, I'll just open up your websites or your LinkedIn profile. So those who are watching the video, they'll get a context about who was speaking. So Sanjay, if you can briefly introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hello everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. Audible?
Yeah.
Yes,
Hi.
Yeah.
Okay. So myself, Sanjay Kumar Patel. I am a founder at Excellent IP. Excellent IP is an intellectual property right law firm. Myself, patent and trademark attorney, IP as well as startup mentors. Running this law firm with the experience of 15 years into this field, particularly into the intellectual property rights. And my core expertise is into the patent domain. So currently, mainly focusing into the IP awareness campaigning into the India because of the lack of the awareness pretty much in compared to when you compare with the foreign countries, the intellectual property right awareness is very less. So mainly focusing on the building or spreading the awareness about the intellectual property rights through this law firms. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Mumal, if you can briefly introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Mumal Sisodia, and I am a trainer and an entrepreneur. And we conduct events and soft skills trainings. So, talking about events, we conduct our own flagship events and some marketing events for corporates as well. And for the soft skills, we conduct corporate in-house training sessions. And apart from that, we have some specific modules also for employment generation and for making the candidates suitable for the industry. And I have been personally associated with MP Police for taking sessions for personality development and image building also. So that's a brief about me.
Awesome. And we end up collaborating quite often with you.
Yeah, for a lot of events.
Indoor events there, and when she does events in other cities, we end up collaborating. Gitika is the CMO at BTS. Gitika, if you can briefly introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is Gitika Bhatia. I act as CMO in BTS.in. BTS is an artificial intelligence enabled hiring platform. We make sure that we are taking the talent acquisition part completely online. So it's a screening, engaging, and hiring platform for the companies to use. And recently, we have pivoted for the use of colleges as well, given that AICTE has announced that the online internships are something that students have to do from their home. So we built COVID-19 related hackathons onto the platform for students to engage. During that, we assess their behavior, we engage with them, we try and upskill them in some way. And going forward, we can also help them in the hiring front.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. And Gitika, you're based in Gurgaon or Delhi?
Actually, Noida, but Delhi NCR, yes.
Delhi NCR,
yeah.
Yes. Nachiket, if you can briefly introduce yourself.
Yes. So this is Nachiket, and I own a company called LogicWin. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Okay. And so we create digital solutions for different industries and mostly SMEs, but we are specialized in building technology solutions which are very niche and specialized. And we work with a US company called Capital. It's a partner company, and we do a lot of custom software for them. Other than that, we are also having our own products. So we have so few of them are listed here, and we are right now focusing on. And I personally am part of a owner of a game company, a co-working space, and so yeah, so I'm associated with different ventures, but primarily I am a techie and I run Logic Wind.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nachiket. Nachiket is based in Surat. So we have friends from a lot of interesting different cities. So we'll get to have a good discussion. So one of the first questions that I want to ask is now we are in a stage 3, the community transformation stage of this thing. So every week, people share them what they are. So probably the problems have got intensified now because all of us would have gone through that situation of work from home, businesses down, or so what is the current situation with your business, or personally, what is the current thing happening at your Nachiket, if you can share your experiences.
Sorry, your last sentence kind of broke up. What is the current?
So currently, how are you dealing with the COVID-19 situation, personally and professionally? Now that we are in the probably third or fourth week of the
Yeah,
lockdown.
I think it's easing out. So settling into the new lifestyle. Honestly, it has been a very, you can say, uncertain first 2 weeks. How are we gonna work remotely? We have a team of around 40 people, so it becomes, and we never work from home. Although we do work with our remote partner company like Capital in US, but still, it was a big challenge to start. But now everything's streamlined in kind of work. I still have to do a lot of meetings kind of a point. Almost a whole day I'm on calls on different things. So I'm trying to find a way around it. Personally, it's challenging to work from home, and I'm working from a common area. I've said my setup, it's on a dining table. So that is quite challenging. I don't have a spare room where I can work from because I don't have a table which I can move around in the house. So that is hard. I may just build a table from something if this continues for a long. But other than that, pretty settled in. Business wise, a lot of things are changing. We all have to innovate very quickly in finding a way to keep like serve our clients. Yeah, that will also.
So Mumal, for the first week, I had invited you, and then you mentioned that you'll wait for some time and then come back to the third week.
Yeah.
So what are the updates at your side?
See, first week actually I was taking time to just understand and grasp the fact that right now we'll have to, keep a hold on our physical events that we do. So apart from that, we have been working upon building some online workshops and other things as far as the corporates with whom we have been working. So now we are creating some, online engagement activities for their in-house employees as well, because it's just the work that they are doing, work from home is going on. So we are working for some other engagement activities also to increase their productivity. That is one thing, for online sessions on various topics, not just some great topics, but yes, something which helps them enhance their productivity in terms of something creative. So we are working on online workshops like, DIY ideas for anything, some home decor or their mental well-being, stress management, and otherwise also. And apart from that, we'll begin with a campaign to keep our audiences intact, so that they don't feel that we are completely away from them. So everybody is in a panic state somehow. Everybody is trying to cope up, how to come ahead with something substantial. So we are running a Face the Fear challenge for outcomes delivered, wherein we are inviting videos from people, how they are coping up or how they have overcome their fears, how they have converted their fears into strengths. And these videos will be run across our website and social media handles. Apart from that, we'll be shortlisting few, the really inspiring ones. And then post lockdown, once we have our events, they will be invited as the guest speakers, as the Face the Fear, change makers. And along with that, we are also working upon launching our e-magazine with the success stories of all our guest speakers. So they will also be published in that. So it's the back end part that we are completely working on right now.
Okay, and in terms of business,
Yes, the online workshops and the engagement activities that we are planning. So that is just that part in terms of business that we are working upon, and the rest things we are building upon for the future things
Okay.
post lockdown.
Awesome. Sanjay, bhai, if you can share personally and professionally how it is, how are you dealing with this situation?
Yeah. So once that lockdown was announced, this concern was that how to manage that work from home, specifically with the employees, because uh, they are not used to with this type of situations and working from the home. But what we have started, we have for first or 2 3 days, we have just tried to get connected with our clients, which were we were dealing with already, or which are under the discussion of any new projects. And after that, 2 3 days, we didn't have to call them because we have started receiving call from different clients. And the scenario is now that we are almost working like a full-time working into the routine phase. So that part is not a concern. So lockdown has not impacted us. So apart from that, what was our main aim was IPR spreading awareness. So we are every day we are running a one either a closed group discussion or a open discussion or the webinar sort of thing or the group meeting about uh, making people aware about what is intellectual property rights, what are the different types of IPR, how they can impact your business, right? It can be either it's a manufacturing industry client, a service provider client, or anyone. How this IPR is impacting each and everyone's business. The
And
second,
Sanjay bhai, I'll just so in terms of business, what is happening? Like, are you getting more revenue? The revenue is steady, or it has?
yes, as I told you, the workflow is increased.
Wow.
Workflow is increased, and we are also working more. But workflow is increased, but we are at the same time we are also relaxed because
Okay.
nobody is following up with that.
Yeah. So you are in a right space then.
Yeah.
Gitika, if you can share your experience personally and professionally, how are you dealing with this?
Yeah, sure. So to be very honest, personally, I do not see much of the change because I have been a person who's an entrepreneur who works in working agile, going agile. So I have been somebody who's been working out of home whenever possible, keeping the cost to the optimum level. So working from home and keeping myself disciplined in that aspect is something that I do not see much of a change. Uh, but yes, definitely, I believe that I have much more time in hand to just think on new ideas, to think on the new pivots, to think upon new opportunities. That was something which was not possible in the hustle of daily Delhi NCR chaos which brings by. So that aspect which Sanjay rightly mentioned, that there are less of the follow-ups, there are less of the calls and stuff happening. Most of the colleges are not working. Most of the companies have put their hiring on hold. So that aspect from the client point of view is kind of steady. But it at the same time, having said that, I believe that there's a lot of time in hand to which we have utilized to make essential pivots. Like I was mentioning, that there was this thing which AICT announced, I guess somewhere around 29th of March, in which they announced that online internships will not be a case and all the colleges have to rely upon the platforms which can provide industry related hackathons. And that was a big opportunity that we thought of tapping, and we reached out to several colleges. We are even partnering with the PSUs, as we say. So that is something, a sort of a pivot which I could not see if I was busy in my daily calls and all sorts of stuff. So I believe that there is both the plus as well as the negative side to it. But having said that, it's I believe it's more of a plus for me if I say that that not much of a change personally, and professionally also I believe that we are getting more productive.
And in terms of the revenues of the business, that has increased, gone down.
So as I've mentioned, not the current way. So we were earlier just going through the companies. The companies were using as for hiring, and since the companies have most of the companies have put their hiring on hold, or they are not proceeding further with the talent acquisition point. So that aspect is sort of cold right now, but which allowed us to move to the colleges and serve the colleges in which the summer internships are approaching, and all the students need a platform so that they can get connected with the industry and learn and upskill themselves. So that was a pivot we made, but not through the general way of revenue making. No, that's kind of a cold thing.
Okay. Avisha, if you can hear us.
Hi.
Yes,
I'm so sorry. I joined a little late. There was a network issue here.
Okay. Now that you are joining, so that's fine. If you can briefly introduce yourself and how are you dealing with this COVID-19 situation, personally and professionally?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Avisha. I'm the co-founder of a company called Ace Creativity. So we're basically an interior design and architecture firm and landscape as well. That's what about my company. And as interior design is all practical and project based, so we're not a company that is confined to the office, right? So our works happen on the projects and they're dependent on the carpenters and painters. So Ace Creativity has major two departments, design and execution. So execution is absolutely zero because no project is working, labors are not there. So it's absolute shutdown. So projects are not working since long. But yeah, the design stuff, I feel it's very good because the team is working from home and creativity needs a lot of freedom. So right now, it's like we don't have a pressure of execution. We have to guide and check with stuff. So we have a lot of time to design and think of new creative ideas. Probably we think exploring a lot of new ideas how the company can grow after this time goes on. That's how it is.
Awesome. And Avisha is based in Indore. So one of the things.
Ace Creative.
Yes, one of the things I will ask a lot of questions to all of you, but any question that you would want to ask fellow entrepreneurs, that something that you would want to know from somebody else. Neeraj, you just joined, you have to connect your audio, and if you can speak up, can you briefly introduce yourself? You'll have to just jump start to introduce, or we'll have one round of more questions and then we'll get started with you. So any questions that you would want to ask fellow entrepreneurs? I never run out with my questions, so I will keep on asking questions, but anything that you'd want to know.
Yeah, I want to ask one question to everyone. See,
yes,
it's happening for me. I believe कि पिछले 2-3 सालों में first time this is happening that I'm sleeping without making a to-do list. And that was like, I believe that was a very core part of being an entrepreneur. I would prepare a week schedule, a month schedule, and a to-do. But now I feel a lot of freedom in it. And I feel that probably entrepreneurs can live that way. What do you guys feel?
Yes, very good question. Don't answer that सब कुछ अच्छा चल रहा है, वो तो चल ही रहा है, but tell something. Yes. Who would want to take up this?
So if I can ask, so very rightly mentioned that one of the major thing in terms of the fun part is making a to-do checklist, and I generally do it in a notepad because I like putting the tick next to it once it's completed. So that's another kind of a kick that I get. So to be very honest, for a couple of days initially, I did not have anything to write over that. I was like, what to write, because there's no follow-up. Usually there are the list of the follow-ups that you have to do, and that was put on hold. But lately, for past couple of days, I started putting new kind of things. So I've started putting that, okay, that I'll be cleaning this side of my room today. I'll be writing an article on this. I'll be watching this movie. I'll be doing this today. So there are the kind of things on that to-do list have changed, definitely. But that sort of, to get that sort of kick before sleeping each and every night and putting that tick, I still continue to do that.
Okay. Before somebody else, Neeraj, Neeraj, if you can hear us, can you just briefly introduce yourself, what you do, and how are you dealing with this COVID-19 situation, personally and professionally?
So basically, I'm based in Pune region. I have a steel company. We primarily supply our steel pipes to the automotive industry. So, like, all of you have seen the shock absorbers and handlebars of bikes. So then that's what we do. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 19 years. So I've had around 4 startups till date. So they range from fashion tech to I mean, like, owning a steel company. How I'm dealing with this, this having like this entire issue. It's tricky for us, with our business, because being a factory, we as it is have, extremely thin margin to work on. The last 4 weeks have been tough because we have had to keep our nearly 150 people workers at home. Uh, Shutting down a steel plant isn't that easy, because we have our furnaces to take care of. So that's been extremely tricky. Also, what I see is that a lot of our customers, so we have around 400 customers across India. So maintaining a dialogue with all these 400 customers has been difficult. My team has been working from home, but regarding the payment cycle and everything, it's all gone for a toss. So among my first phone calls I made after this happened, my first phone call was to my suppliers, because I told them to just to give them a reassurance that I'm there and everything will be taken care of. My second phone call was to my bankers, telling them that I need their support, and then I started calling my customers. So, but overall, I think the last 3 weeks, personally for me, has been very good. I have been investing a lot of time in things I wouldn't normally do. So I've become a huge Sadhguru fan. Not only do I listen to his videos, but I've also been doing a bit of mindfulness and everything else. So it's and also I thank Zoom meetings. I've been trying to mentor the startups which I should do quite a bit in outdoor coffee shops. So I've been doing it from my screen, and it's helping. So going forward, I will be mentoring a lot more, but now on the screen.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Abhishek had asked this question, so we'll take up one more answer. Who would want to pick up this? Like, do you? Yes, Nachiket. You'll have to unmute and speak up.
Yes. So, interestingly enough, I started working more, and my list has increased a lot, because I have to do more follow-ups with my team. Otherwise, it was in the office, and I can, like, they used to come and say, okay, this is done, this is what is going on, and you get to just walk around and see who is doing what. It's just easy. Now I have a bigger list of things to follow up with. I don't do it like all myself, but I always need to keep an eye. Another thing is, I am actually used to watch movie and other stuff when I was not locked. There was no lockdown. What has happened is it has opened, like, so I realize, and I think everybody of, like, there has to be a new way of doing business, which you are doing a digital way. So I'm spending all my time in learning and exploring the new avenues, how we can be better. Because as soon as this closed down, we need to be in digital economy better than we were. So I couldn't sleep until I spent, like, just think about it or do something about it. So I'm learning little bit of more digital marketing. I'm doing little bit of content writing now, as well as my team, working with my team. So I'm working more, and my to do has increased. So it is wearing me down now after 3 weeks. Like, okay, I have to
So
slow it
Abhishek,
down a little.
guilty तो feel नहीं हो रहा, बाकी सब तो बहुत काम कर रहे हैं. सही बोल रहे हैं.
One thing that they said was right. Like, even I am now thinking Ace Creative isn't that much of digital, but even interior design has to go digital. So we're working on a new wing altogether. This COVID-19 time gave us this avenue to open up for Ace Creativity, that we should always have one wing that works digitally, wherein we're not physically involved, yet we can provide our services. So we're working head on it. And as everybody of us has heard this statement, your business grows to the extent that you grow. So we're spending a lot of time in growing ourselves, mindfulness, and reading a lot of startup and entrepreneurship related books, and making new strategies probably that we'll be launching after we get out of this lockdown.
Yeah, we're very hopeful for that. So one question, probably all of you can give a very brief answer to it. So during this phase, probably 3 to 4 weeks, what is that one thing you started doing which you were resisting or really never wanted to do that thing? What is that one thing you started doing it? Sanjay bhai, something you were resisting, but thanks to this, you anyways want to do.
Yeah, reading books.
So you started reading books. Which one that anyone you can mention?
Start with why.
Okay, start with why. Simon Sinek, right?
Yeah.
He's getting very. Gitika, one thing which you used to resist, but now you have started doing it.
Okay. So watching, actually, I have been the person who was always involved in reading and content writing and all sorts of things, but I have never given that much of time to series and movies, because that requires, because then you have to binge watch, and then I completely break down my flow. I do not have 2.5 hours a day to watch and sit on my laptop to do it consistently, because that's builds sort of an addiction. But at the very same time, I always realized that the kind of perspective that some series and movies can open up in your head, so stuff like Interstellar and Inception and stuff like that, because it can open another level of thinking and perspective. So I will always wanted to. I had a list of the movies I wanted to watch. I wanted to watch the Pirates of Silicon Valley. I wanted to watch the Social Network. I wanted to watch the Netflix, many Netflix series and all sorts of things. So I prepared the list, and that's what I'm doing. And luckily, I have the time to do that. So I've already completed 5 of the series and 7 of the movies in the lockdown.
So we do another series of Zoom calls around discussing more.
I would like to be part of that then.
Mumal, what is that one thing you used to resist, but now you are doing?
One thing, what I have started doing now is that I've stopped piling up for things. So you see, I have a very extreme kind of attitude when it comes to doing my work. Either I'll stay awake the entire night and finish up that work, or else I'll keep it on hold for ages. कि करती हूँ, I will do it, I will do it. So then I have actually stopped, behaving in that manner. So, and whenever anything clicks to me, I instantly get down and do it now. So one thing what Avisha was talking about, after the everything, after managing everything else, one thing which I have literally done yesterday is that I have actually cleared my wardrobe. I have decluttered everything. I have arranged back everything, which was pending for, you can say, almost 12 months, because I was traveling. And then there were other things, I was thinking I'm too busy to do that. So I've actually overcome that thing. Whatever comes to me, I'm doing it instantly.
Wow. Neeraj, you briefly mentioned, but what is that one thing you used to resist and now doing it?
Yeah, so I think like all thanks to the stock market crash, I actually have a list of all the stocks I own, I still ignore, because I used to just keep buying every time. But then I realized that now I have to see, which I've bought at what rate. So I actually took the time to actually, sort out everything, and I have a nice Excel sheet now, and it's all up to date. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
So now it's like absolutely clear how much I've lost, which is good.
Yes, Nachiket.
So one thing, yes, so that is helping in household chores, so like cleaning and stuff is something
Wow.
There is no resistance now.
started doing. And just one more thing is, I actually stopped watching series and movies which I used to do for so many years. Like I get
So you become a workaholic, eh? You stop doing all those things folks enjoy.
yeah, I
And
become workaholic. I never knew.
awesome. Avisha, in your case?
Yeah. So I even was very obsessed with my work, like work, and I was kind of a very workaholic person. So I would hardly relax. So now I feel like I always had a back-to-back to-do. Even for 5 minutes, I had a plan what to do. And now all of a sudden when lockdown came, so there was a lot of free time, and I was like amazed ki main kya karu? Like I have to do work. So initial 1 week without work and staying home was very difficult. And then I started reading a lot of books that I always used to do. Now I realized ki the same work that I used to do with a lot of pressure can be done with a relaxed mode as well. I'm trying to do things with not hypertension in my head, but with a smile.
Awesome. So I'll continue asking questions, but any question that you would want to ask anyone in the group. Nachiket, what question you would want to ask? See, all of us have to ask questions. So then in the videos, every video I ask questions. So this is something that you can ask.
Give me a second. Yes.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah. So you think through. Gitika,
Go ahead.
Yeah. So So it's very not related to probably are related to entrepreneurs also. So before also there was a lot of the key aspect of FOMO in terms of the social media and everything. And now that since the lockdown has begun, I see that aspect, that social behavior of the FOMO and social proof increasing even more. People putting a lot of videos of working out, of how they are working from home. It's like they have to validate with the world that yes, even if I'm at home, I'm not sitting in my PJs, I'm still working. It's like that sort of getting that validation from external world out there has increased. So do you think that behavior aspect that's gonna change the way we see the social media or the way the consumer behaves, and if it's gonna have any impact going forward,
Okay,
or has it changed, or is it just in my head? Yeah.
very good question. Who would want to pick up this? Mumal, you work on behavioral side also. You want to respond to that?
See, as far as what she's discussing, what I have also observed is that, there are two extremes. Like I said, in my behavior also, similarly, in the society also, there are two kind of extremes. So then, however, there is an increase in the, kind of people who are moving more towards themselves. Agar workout bhi kar rahe hain, probably, yes, they are trying to, understand ke this is good for us. But at the same time, that social acceptance, since it is so much now rooted within us, that we have to put everything across. So validating wala factor, what you are saying is, I think to some extent, yes, because everything that we do, there is one set of people who would not want anybody to know what they're doing, but then yes, there is one set of people who would always want everybody to know even this, minutest of things what they are doing, in utilizing their time, in telling what they are doing. So yes, there is both the ends to it. There are both the ends to it.
Okay. Yes, Nachiket.
I have a little, like, my opinion is like, and looking at myself only, I usually don't post much in WhatsApp or friends group or anything like that. But stuck in the home, I crave the need of socializing. So the only way I can do is, push something out. Today only I baked the bread in first time in my life. Why? Because I really wanted to do something new, so do something else and eat something new than the same stuff. So I started doing that and I sent the photo out. And then I realized, why did I do that? It's just that the friend called me up. क्या बात है यार, अभी ये क्या करने लगा है तू? So that's how I wanted to be more social, and that's the only way I know right now to do that. So even though I think it will increase, but it will that again, once you actually start meeting people, going outside, it may just be like it was, or some people will hang on to it. But I feel like that's the only way. So people will need to talk about it or share about it or somehow take it out to the show it to the world, right? Because if you're working out, you're working out in a gym, going to meeting friend, you talk about it, you say about stuff. And अभी सब phone पे एक के साथ ही होता है, 4-5 लोग के साथ होता नहीं, and everything has become on phone. So it has become a kind of a annoyance to be on phone. So that is something. So I think social media is a new platform to communicate about, even being like really being social, because that's the only way to be social right now.
And that's why these challenges are getting more popular, and the challenge accepted. So everybody's now, those who never used to post on social media, now they are taking parts in those challenges. We'll have, like, who would want to, we'll take one more answer, so that one question and two answers. Who would want to pick up this? Neeraj, Avisha?
Yeah, I would like to say.
Yes. Yes.
So to me, so it's been a different game. Like, एकदम से ऐसा लग रहा है social media पे ना बाढ़ आ गई है. People who were never visible, all of a sudden posting so much. So what happens ki when there is a bar somewhere, so either you resist that or you get attracted towards it. So to me, what is happening is like, I'm like, the moment I open, everybody is baking a cake and everybody is everybody is doing workout. So I personally, then I had two options: either to go and just explore the temporary burst of goodness in everyone, like everybody had become, obsessed with their health and what all they're posting. So I don't find good stuff on social media. Like either they're posting ki stay safe, or either they're posting their personal stuff. So if I want to grow in business or as an entrepreneur, I don't see any stuff now on social media about that. So I resist it. Rather, I feel कि अगर ये इतना बाढ़ आ गया तो there's more resistance from my side towards social media. So it's giving me more time to go within rather than go on the screens.
I'll share my so typically my entire social media is about मेरा इवेंट आने वाला है, मेरा इवेंट खत्म हो गया. Social media post होते हैं. So I might get bored with following somebody like me. So बाकी लोग post करते हैं, बहुत अच्छी बात है. So you get your piece of entertainment. So I would encourage people to do it. So probably I don't do it because so I might get bored with people like me. So लोग कर रहे हैं तो और भी अच्छा है, लोगों को और इंटरेस्टिंग सोशल मीडिया पे शेयर.
एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के लिए ईचा है ना, वो सोशल मीडिया ही है फॉर एंटरप्रेन्योर.
In my case, typically
on Facebook or anything.
ends up happening since Icha is a platform. We get that opportunity to speak to a lot of people. So social media में post नहीं करूँगा तो 10 दोस्त तो होंगे जिनके साथ मैं वो discuss कर लूँगा. So we'll do this round. So everybody please ask one question to each other. So मुझे भी पता चले कि लोगों को क्या question पूछना है. Neeraj.
Yes. Jatin, before asking my question, I just want to add up. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, before asking the question, I just want to add up on the previous questions that I also do not post much on the social media, but whenever I post, I just ask myself, what is the purpose? Is there any purpose? Means either I am sharing something which is helpful to others, either in terms of giving some good message or giving some information which might be helpful there, either the personal life or the professional life. Right. So that's from my side. Regarding question, I just want to ask everyone from here that have you thought of what will be your business strategy going forward after this situation? Have you thought of, or is it there in your to-do list or not?
Yeah.
Yes, Neeraj, you. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so that's an excellent question. I believe that communication is going to be the only way going forward, with my customers and my suppliers, suppliers in the next few months. I believe that, a lot of people think that, having a great marketing strategy will help. I believe that, just maintaining your current customers, in a very patient way and also having a continuous dialogue with them will help the business sustain. And the thing is, I'm an eternal optimist. I really believe, and I wanted to ask this question to all of you, in fact, is that how many of you really feel that, the media keeps saying that, there's a great depression which is going to come ahead, in the next 2 or 3 years. But how many of you actually feel that the recession won't last more than 2 or 3 months? Don't you feel that the market will just jump back? Of course, this is a question after his question, but something all of you can just think about.
Yeah. But good question, Sanjay bhai. Neeraj bhai's question you think about, else we'll get into this inception that one question ka answer and then uska question. What do you want to give this answer? Like, have you thought about what is the situation? This is a very Nachika.
Yes. So my question was gonna be on the same line, but I'll answer this one. So one thing is for sure, nobody knows the right answer, right? So whether to know that it's gonna last for 1 year, 2 year, or whether it's gonna last for 4 months or 3 months. If it's shorter, everybody's gonna benefit, right? Nobody's gonna say, "Kyun itna short ho gaya?" So what we are preparing is we are preparing for a new world, which, like thinking is this: if we are ready for digital economy and the digital world, then it's gonna work even if the things are back to normal. And if it's longer, still we are able to survive that tide, right? So we being an IT company, we can do innovate, and we have a lot of things in pipeline which we have just pivoted in a way a little bit that it makes sense for more digital world, right? Because all the company who are never digital, I'm for sure it's gonna be a different world. Everybody's gonna think about work from home. Everybody's gonna think about how they are gonna be able to work if such situation again arise, like enabled all of the worry of work from home kabhi nahi hota hai, yeah, it's not something, or will be gone. So there will be things happening around the companies around the world which kind of open opportunities in every industry. And understand, I also see that like now a lot of people who are not happy with working with laptops or not really into, like, let's say interior design, right? So they were not really into कि मुझे तो यहाँ पे दिखाएंगे तो ही मजा आएगा, मैं ऑनलाइन तो नहीं दिखूंगा, are in the mind frame of looking at Pinterest and figuring out stuff, and then that is something which is like for me in digitally we are also thinking like traditional company using software, how do we approach them when things get back to normal, how are we gonna be in front of them, right? So those are the things we are already working on, because in either case it's beneficial, and that's where we are having time and focus on that particular aspect. Does that answer the question?
Yes, yes, yes. Else we will get into to and fro. But who would want to answer? Gitika, Avisha, Mumal, who want to?
So I'll start with Sanjay's question and probably move to Neeraj's. So yeah, in terms of the business strategy, definitely, given that, and it depends on the kind of industry the business or startup is running in. So given that we are into the HR space and HR tech space, and that's much of an operation that we do not see a jump back or a bounce very soon. So definitely a lot of pivots and a lot of different routes that we are exploring and brainstorming on. Having said that, we know that this is the time of collaboration. This is the time that there are many HR tech players in the market. We are reaching out to many, and many have reached out to us because it's gonna impact each and everybody. So rather than facing it all by yourself, the better will be you face it together and come out stronger. So on the collaboration front, a lot is happening. Uh, so that is something that we believe is the strategy we are following, and also we are moving more towards the community aspect. So reaching out to the communities, creating communities. So the two things which I believe will sustain is how much of database, how much of a big community you have and you can sustain, and the second is how many and bigger collaborations you can bring in to move forward. So that is something that I see. And coming to Neeraj's question, so I don't think it's gonna come back to normal in three or a couple of months, I would say. It can take even years. And why I say that, because the global giants, the players like USA and UK have been impacted. And when we say that, that actually changes the entire dynamic of how the trade and the supply and the economy can work. So that is going to have mostly for IT, it was USA outsourcing it to us. For most of the exports, imports, it was more towards going towards the USA side and the UK side, some of it. So that part will definitely impact the cash flow in the economy. But having said that, there will be a great rise, because even in the last recession, we have seen companies like Twitter, we have seen companies like WhatsApp booming up. So it depends upon, so we can see a greater rise in probably last mile deliveries of groceries. We can see bigger rise in the entertainment. So just now I was seeing that the Disney partnered with Hotstar, and
Right.
it has reached to a level which Netflix and Amazon could not do in last one decade. Because they used this period really well. So it's more of the entertainment industry, the last mile delivery industry, which will see the boom. Again, the Zoho, the Zoom, these kind of people which were not probably downloaded so much are getting used so much. So that these companies will definitely bounce back quickly. But overall, it's going to impact economy, and it can take years to stabilize well.
And just to add on to those questions, and probably this is the question out of starters. So, probably we are founders are optimistic, so we are very optimistic in our outlook. But what is that one thing you're not probably sure, and probably you're taken back that how could this happen? Like in your business, what is that one thing you're not sure that what will happen? What is that one thing? Avisha?
Yeah, I feel I had goals of 2020. I had an annual goal. So now instead of having 12 months, I feel I have 8 months to achieve the same goal. So I'm really worried, does my goal changes, or how do I compress it in less time? Be it financial, be it number of projects, be it the type of project that we wanted to deliver, be it the companies we wanted to work with. So we had every entrepreneur has, so we had a very exhaustive goal for our growth in terms of projects and work. So now, and even the financials. So now the entire year was divided into 12 months. So we at Ace Creativity are really worried ki now the same goal remains for the 7, 8 or 9 months. or do we change the goal? So we obviously don't want to change the goals, but now we are trying how do we achieve that lesser time? Probably will the clients or the projects probably support us in achieving that? Because I do not know once when the economy gets shattered. So interior design and architecture are not like groceries or something that is really very important in day-to-day life. So they might little postpone the stuff. It might not be a very primary thing for people, be it offices or anything. So how would we suffer and how would we cope up with it? And how would we will accept the fact that how our finances and the projects and everything would be suffering? So I'm a little skeptical about that.
I'll share from my side also, so you also get the perspective. Why I'm asking this thing. So last 1 year have been. So yesterday we completed 11 years of each other. So thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. The 11th year was phenomenal. We started ICHA chapters in 15 countries. So for a very, very long period, ICHA was a small, nice initiative in Ahmedabad. But last 1 year was very incredible because to think of us as we don't have sponsors. So there are very few community initiatives which never. So it's a choice, and we never wanted to get into it. And we are very indie initiative, not backed by big corporates, not backed by big guys. And still we are able to scale that up. Even nations where each international avatar was far phenomenal. Like in a lot of other cities, we started ground up. We will do small things, small things, and suddenly it has got the momentum. But international avatar, like in Estonia, in Singapore, in Melbourne, each was as good as anybody else. So that was 15 countries, and we were on the verge of starting in another 15 ones. So with this situation, probably physical meetups. I'm not sure that. Of course, it will happen and it will come back, but there is a one doubt that probably it will not be same way that it used to happen. Probably we'll have to figure out other ways. But that is one thing that personally I feel okay. What will happen? So in your businesses, what is that one thing? Probably it will happen, but still you have little doubt. You're not sure that what will happen.
So yeah,
yes.
So like if you look at the automotive industry, so like electric vehicles was supposed to come up, in this whole period because a lot of companies have invested so much money in it. But I do feel that because of this problem now, people may not back the automotive companies in terms of electric vehicles, or they may not find the market for it. So I'm a bit skeptical about the companies who have invested so much now in EVs, because first of all, now, with the new engine emission norms, people will have to buy cars which are going to be more expensive. Plus with this oncoming downturn, and plus I doubt they will want to try out something new.
Yep.
So that is where my
more conservative in certain aspects. Mumal, in your case, what is that one thing you are not sure? Like you are very hopeful, but not necessarily very sure.
Yeah, that is one thing that we are very hopeful. But at the same time, see, right now, everything that we were doing has shifted to online courses and online tutorials and everything. So when it comes to teaching skills online, the entire market is flooded right now. Everybody is online. In fact, my son is having his classes, online sessions only. So one thing I'm very hopeful is that we are going to reach a bigger audience, but at the same time, I'm skeptical about what USP we would, want to create so that we can increase upon our revenue. Because coming online and having sessions online with n number of softwares and other things, that is what everybody in the education or the training domain is doing right now. So that's one thing which I'm hopeful. Yes, it is going to increase the audience size, but at the same time, what USP we would have to create to tap the market. So that's one thing.
Sanjay, in your case?
Yeah, Jatin, we are not just sure about one thing, that is because of this lockdown and the impact on the business, people may cut down that cost on the R&D side or research side or the innovation side, and that may impact because of the majority of the client we are looking for is from the research and development who are doing some research kind of things and into the some innovations and all this. So at the one side we are not sure, but at the other side we are also optimistic about that because of this lockdown. Now people will think on doing some innovations for the growth and the establishment of their business. And so these are the two things we are expecting from the market after this scenario goes down.
Yeah, very well answered. Nachiket, you have to open up your video also.
Sorry.
Yes.
I'm in quite dark place. So anyway, so one thing I'm not sure about is the startup investments, like how much it's gonna be back on, like how much investors are gonna be eager to invest, and what's kind of when the industry of startup will come back to like proper speed. And because I'm part of two startups and there was a plan to raise after 6 months, and so I'm very much uncertain whether it will happen. And another thing is essential and non-essential would be the two categories. Everything will be catered into subconsciously. Like businesses had software and other things which are non-essential, but it's very well possible that now everybody which is in essential will flourish, but anything non-essential will, I'm not sure when they will come back up. Like we were thinking about a meditation app or something like that. It will, I'm not sure when it will be feasible that it will be like people will buy that stuff or not.
So one advantage of this was we used to do webinar a year back, and then suddenly each chapters in each city got better. So I did not do a webinar because anyways each events were happening. But now that I'm doing webinars and all of you are part of each I never knew. Like, of course, I got a summary that what happened in that event, but I didn't know that what was happening in other cities, what people were discussing. So this webinar is a way for me to engage with all the people again. So last 5 minutes of this discussion, anything that anybody would want to ask to the group? Anything that, Mumal, yeah.
I would like to just share about, we were talking on a lighter note, we were talking about being optimistic. So apart from the training modules and apart from the online trainings that we are talking about, the one portion that we cater to is events. So Indians are so optimistic that since now the corporate events and other community events are on hold physically, I have actually received a lead for a wedding planning. So, so one of the acquaintance, they now want that since you are not doing corporate events right now, so just keep on planning for this wedding, which will be, we'll be having it by December or January. So at least I'm hopeful that we'll have a backup plan to have some sort of increase in the revenue. Yeah.
Lovely.
So budget-friendly weddings probably we might cater to now.
That could be yes. So one of the person who mentioned last time very strongly that you should have multiple sources of income.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about it. I have actually started working upon it. How to create a budget-friendly wedding. I've just asked them what would be their tentative budget post-lockdown, obviously. And I'm thinking of creative ideas how we can cater to their needs in that particular budget.
I got one moderator invitation, so probably that could be my alternative source of income. But any last point that you want to pick up, anything that you want to ask, and I'll share something that I wanted to share about each other. Yes, any question that you have for the group, or you can ask me also. So I'll just do small. So those who are watching the video on YouTube, at ECHI we are doing a couple of interesting things. So if you want to see the recordings of all our webinars, you'll be able to see it on the echi.in/webinars. This was our 49th webinar, so you have become very pro at that. Also, what we are doing very interesting things. So typically, you see a lot of interesting webinars happening. So what is that one thing we use? So this is what we are trying to do, like small group, very focused discussion. So at all ECHI meetups are going to be like 10, 12 people, but very focused discussions. So there are a lot of many very interesting things happening on the internet. So we contextually curate that information. So if you go to echi.in/resources, you will be able to see the videos of webinars organized by a lot of other good people. So if you want to know, so every VC organization or a community organization in India is doing some sort of a webinars around COVID-19 impact on startups. So if you go to this particular link, you'll get to see all those 25 videos of different organizations, what they did with their community. Or you want to understand founder stories. So for example, so it's a very good resource in addition to our own set of programs that we are doing. Plus, we are launching this ECHI Curator Chrome extension. So probably Gitika was mentioning there are interesting series that she is watching, and that could be relevant to founders also. So if you have any interesting content that you found very useful for you and you want to recommend to the community, so you can go to echi.in/curator. As of now, it is live for YouTube. You can recommend a source. It will go to ECHI and it will be organized. So it will be recommending to the people that this is also a very interesting source. For example, a lot of people are new to Zoom. They want to understand how Zoom works, what are the pricing, how Zoom meeting is different from say Zoom webinar.
Yeah.
So for example, this is very good. So you want to understand Zoom meetings and webinars, you'll get a good resources around each of the topic, how to record a meeting, how to do a Zumba class over Zoom, and fantastic content. So as of now, we curated, but we will open it up for the community where people, so think of it as a Wikipedia, but more like a on top of social media and not just articles. This is something that we are building. So this was our product, which wasn't that mature yet, but thanks to this lockdown and we are not doing physical events, we have doubled down on that. So that is live. So it is going to be very interesting. So with this, thank you so much everyone for joining in.
Thank you.
Let's
Yeah,
check.
yeah,
Thank you, Jatin.
Thanks,
Yeah,
everyone.
Thank you
a
so
lot.
much, Jatin.
Thank you, Jatin.